Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Wherever you're watching from, just drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. All right. Welcome to Cheesy Media. So we just talk about some of the trending issues related to Enugu State. Something is just I just came across that is quite funny. I mean, Enugu Air just launched some few days ago, and it was a happy event in so many ways because for the very first time, this is history in the making. Enugu State now has an airline, and the whole country was agog with it. There are so many persons who spoke very, very glowingly about Enugu State and its governor, Barrister Ndubisimba, about how he has transformed the state, how he has given the state some facelift, what he has been able to achieve in the last few, years. This is just 2 years and few months since he assumed office, and many persons did not give him a chance, given what had happened in 2023. I mean, we had the wave. Enugu State was one of the states that had the Labour Party wave owing to the popularity of Peter Obi. So those numbers came really hastily strong for the very first time in a very long time. In fact, since 1999, it's been very difficult for any political party to have an inroad into, the Enugu state. So it happened in 2023. It was historic. You can imagine where a place where PDP sweeps 100%, they're not able to gather at least 50% in the federal election, in the Senate and the House of Reps. In the Senate, in fact, it took the grace of God for the PDP to come back in Enugu West, where Kwerimadu came from. We still have the PDP person who, is from there, who eventually won. But in the other two senatorial zones, in the Enugu North and the Enugu South, you could tell that numbers were wiped away. All right, but that's actually not the issue, the case we're talking about, because we're going to get into that later. But I want to bring us to speed with what's going on right now. The Enugu State government, through the special assistant, senior special assistant to the governor on media, has just released a statement. I mean, the Enugu State airline that we just launched yesterday, somebody is already impersonating it online. And that is not a good thing. Somebody's already impersonating in Enugu State online, especially on this Twitter. Sometimes I even wonder whether this social media is even a good thing or a bad thing. You know how it is when you go online and you are looking for a particular, okay, you're looking for a particular company and you find different handles. Like, for instance, you go online, you're looking for, say, Ministry of Agriculture, and then you go to Ministry of Agriculture, you search, and then you see several Ministry of Agricultures, whether they are online, they are offline, or whether they are, just somewhere. It's just devastating that we're hearing that the Enugu Air we just launched the other day. Why people were planning and they're happy that they're excited that they're going to start using Enugu Air. Some persons are already planning to dupe people, using Enugu Air platform. Now let me explain to you how it goes so that you don't fall a victim. I will display to you this particular legit handle of Enugu Airlines. All right, I'll display to you because there are some other ones that are really, 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 really fake, and I'm sure that in due course they are going to now verify it. All right, I'll display to you the official Enugu Airlines handle. Again, I want to also state that it can be quite dicey because, again, it's ZJet that have been contracted to manage Enugu Air. So when you go on the website of Enugu Airlines, you click on the booking platform. It takes you to ZJet's platform. All right, it takes you to a ZJet platform where you do your booking. That's where your booking happens. That's where you make your payments. That's where you say where you are headed to when you're coming back in case you are paying for round trip. So it's a little bit confusing here and there. I think this is actually what happens from the get go, from the beginning. Whenever some things like this are up, these are the things that happen. So when it does happen like this, over time these things are smoothened out. We know that people who are out there who are out to dupe people, so you should be very, very careful. So mind you, let me display this document for you. This is the original site, just in case you're on Twitter, you're looking for how to reach out to Enugu Air. This is at Enugu Airlines, at Enugu Airlines. It's clearly boldly written there. It's just like it's not being verified just yet. The official X account for Enugu Air, an Enugu state-owned airline operated by ZJet Limited. Reliable air travel that feels like home. Book now. All right, that's airline enuguairlines.com. They joined in April 2025. They have 4 following and it's 170 followers already. All right, and I also wanted to put out this particular document because it is the document that would explain clearly what they were trying to do here. So here's another document. Official notice from Enugu Air. It says, we are of unaffiliated accounts impersonating Enugu Air on X, that's Twitter. Please be advised that at Enugu Airlines is the only verified X Twitter handle for the airlines. All right. At Enugu Airlines is the only verified X handle of Enugu Air. All right. It continues. Let me put you so that you will read it together. It continues by saying that Enugu Air is an Enugu state-owned airline operated by ZJet Limited, and our public communications are handled by an official team. To protect our brand and travelers, we encourage the public to report any misleading accounts or positioning as Enugu Air. For accurate update visits, https://enuguairlines.com. Follow us on X at Enugu Airlines. All right. Fly right, fly on time with the real Enugu Air. All right. There you go. So it's official, guys. Something that you should be very circumspect of. Everyone is looking forward to chop money from. This company is just starting, and sometimes some of these baby steps can lead us to losing funds. Beyond just losing funds, I also wanted to say that you all to be circumspect, to be very careful about the people you pay your monies to. If you are not sure, I mean, there's nothing that is so bad if you leave the comfort of your home and go straight to the airport to pay for it yourself, or you can better still, just pay via the bank. I think it's working. I've heard and seen people who have on their own gone to several places on their own, have tried to book online, and they say it's actually seamless. They say it's seamless. And I also have a video explaining to you how you can book on Enugu Air. I did a video on that, how you can book on Enugu Air. All you need to do is to go to the website enuguairlines.com, click on it, and on the place where they say booking, click on it, and it will take you to a platform that belongs to ZJet. It's a website that belongs to ZJet, and then you do your booking, just like you do your ordinary bookings there, just like you do with every other ones that you use, whether it's Airpeace or other platform. But I just wanted to put out there that Enugu Airlines, there are people who are out there impersonating the airlines, and they're trying to take advantage of the fact that the airlines is very new, and because it's very new, it is becoming it's a popular brand. It's a popular brand, and it's something that everybody wants to identify with. And so people are just around it, trying to cut corners or trying to eat people or trying to make money. Some people are also trying to even clone the website. So I thought to share this with you so that it is very clear with everybody, that so that you don't fall prey for some of these people who are out there. And if you are in any way doubting this, like I always say, this is live, online. Send a message. There's a number showing on your screen right there. You may want to call that number, or maybe even send us a message. And by the way, it's not even just about this Enugu Air thing. It could be anything that you have seen in Enugu State that you may want to talk about, you want to touch on, or you want to speak on, or you want to feel that you are a little bit uncomfortable with the current administration, or maybe you want to praise the current administration. I mean, it's not every time we criticize. Sometimes we also have to praise, because when somebody does some things well and something's good, it's good that you praise them. So it is also important that you send us videos, send us pictures, anything happening in your locality, in your area that you think that needs to be touched on, that it needs to be discussed. We would love to hear from you. Just calling that number, or send us a WhatsApp message. Send us the videos of whatever it is that you're trying to show to the world. Send us pictures of whatever it is that you're trying to show to the world. You can also call in, and in due course, we're going to be opening the phone lines for you to be able to call in and tell us, what exactly your reactions are to some of regional issues, national issues, or any other issues as relates to the matters affecting us, or affecting the Igbo, or in fact residents of Enugu State, as the case may be. So there are several things. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about the deployment of security to Ehamufu. A whole lot of persons have been complaining about the security breakdown in Ehamufu lately. And the governor has gone beyond just the rhetorics. I've deployed helicopters. The helicopters, I did a video on it. I mean, if you can check it out on the video platforms, there are visuals of there are 3 helicopters that have been deployed to that axis. So there will be no reason for anybody to say they are going to kill somebody and run into the bush. The helicopter is going to basically navigate and capture you. So I mean, it's beginning to look really cool and cozy, especially for those who have been complaining bitterly about the security situation in Hamufu. Hopefully, we wouldn't have to have those issues that we had earlier with some persons losing their lives because they went to the farm, or some others getting raped just because they found themselves in the farm. So with this latest development by the state governor, it becomes imperative that security situation improves, and hopefully people can return back to their farms. I understand that the Archbishop of that axis had his first mass even last week. So I'm hoping that he's going to have the second, this coming Sunday. So everything returns to normal. And of course, the governor also spoke about improving telecommunications in that area, improving the communication set up in that area, so that it be easy for anyone to call anyone at any point in time if there is any breakdown of law and order. I just want to appreciate everyone who has joined us this afternoon for a short notice, because it's something that was breaking and I needed to put it out there immediately to state clearly that there have been some communications from the state government of Enugu State saying clearly that some persons who are looking to impersonate this new airlines, and they're out there. Just in case you have found 1 or 2 persons, you know what to do. You can call the numbers scrolling on your screen, or you can speak to us. We would also connect to those who are who matter a lot. All right, we appreciate you. We thank you for all that you have done, all that you have, giving us in terms of support. We are back shortly for some of the breaking news out there. All right, take care and have yourselves a beautiful evening. The people of Ehamufu in Isi-Uzo local government area of Enugu State have expressed joy and confidence over the continued improvement of security in their communities and Isi-Uzo in general under the Governor Peter Amba administration. Stakeholders, youths, women, and other members of a Hamufu community made their feelings known when they trooped out en masse to receive Governor Mba's security team led by his senior special assistant on security, Vincent Onyabo, who stormed the Ogbete Hamufu Joint Task Force JTF security camp with 3 helicopters. The team was at the Ogbete JTF camp in the company of the officers of the Nigerian Air Force and the International Helicopter Flying School, IHFS Air Force Base, Emene Enugu, led by Air Commodore D.E. Laha and Wing Commander O. Adeni. The team, which also visited Agwemede community in Ehamufu, were received at St. Paul's Model Secondary School, Ehamufu, by the chairman of Isi-Uzo Local Government Council, Barrister Obiora Obiagu, and other community leaders and stakeholders of Eha Ohoala, including the Anglican Bishop of Ehamufu Diocese, Bishop Daniel Olinya, and the traditional ruler of Agwemede community, Igwe John Odo Anyika. Speaking during the visit, Onyabo noted that wrong notions had existed when helicopters sighted around were presumed to have been used by criminals to supply arms and ammunition to enemies of the communities. This is why we have decided to come here with some of those helicopters to reassure you that they are not enemies but friends from the International Helicopter Flying School on a routine training program, and that you should feel happy and wave whenever you see them, he says. He explained that besides the routine training, the security team of the state government partners with the Air Force and the flying schools to assist with effective surveillance of the forest and communities to ensure that criminals did not hold any inch of the state. So their training programs are just one part of the story. The other part, which is very critical, is that their operations also help us to keep an eye on what is happening around these forests, because in Enugu, we have zero tolerance for any form of insecurity. The governor has said it repeatedly that we have no room, forest, or space for criminal elements. Speaking, the Anglican Bishop Olinya expressed great delight at what he described as the exceptional commitment of His Excellency Governor Peter Mba to the security and welfare of the people of Ehamufu and Isi-Uzo local government in general. According to the clergy, the recent visit of Ehamufu stakeholders to Mba was an eye-opener to the governor's depth of love and great plans for the people of Isi-Uzo local government area. Appreciating the renewed confidence and people's return to displace farm settlements in the area, the bishop declared that though he would physically be at Ogbete come Sunday, 13th July 2025 to resume normal church service after many years of desertion since 2021-2022. He called on the people of the community to attend the service and take advantage of the existing safe atmosphere to return to their homes and resume farming so that the good efforts of the government and security forces would not be in vain. In his remarks, Isi-Uzo Council Chairman Barrister Obiagu said, quote, "We cannot thank the governor enough for all he has been doing to strengthen security in Isi-Uzo in general and Ehamufu in particular since he assumed office. Remember that before he assumed office, there were internally displaced persons at the camps in Isi-Uzo, but in a matter of about a month or two, our people returned to their homes following massive deployment of security personnel. To facilitate security access and improve agricultural production, he has completed the 21.7 kilometers Agape Agu Mbuji Ogbete asphalt road, which leads into some of the farm settlements. Currently, he has directed for the asphalt road to be extended by about 8 kilometers into Agwemede to further improve security. The governor, he is equally working to ensure that these farm settlements have telecom connectivity to aid effective communications and security response. He's also doing the 200-hectare farm estate in all the 11 political wards of Isi-Uzo. These include the 4 political wards of Ehamufu, that of Mbuji has since commenced, and Abo Isiala and Agwemede have followed suit. These farms will be fenced and smallholders farmers will have access to modern farm machineries, inputs, and the services of extension workers, he says.
After all these efforts that we are seeing with our own eyes, somebody will come out and say that, there is no commitment, that the governor does not know what he's doing, that, it is not adequate, what he's doing doesn't make any sense. I just want us to note the clear shift from what this governor is doing versus what the previous administration did, even though they were from the same party. And you would think that, well, the PDP didn't really have any direction when it comes to solving the problem of insecurity. When he tried his best, he enacted laws to stopping cars from moving, but the day he enacted that law, the following day, we saw car in front of government house, you know. But I mean, sometimes it's good to commend people so that they could do better, they could do more. I'm not saying don't criticize me. I'm number one critique. Do anyhow you see anyhow, you know. But if you look at what has happened versus what has been happening, you will know there's a clear case of a plan, a grand plan by this administration to put security in check. You know, Nigeria is a country that hasn't really gotten its security right. And that's the truth. From the federal to the state to the local government, we haven't really gotten our security right. We still have issues with our security. And that stems from the fact that we haven't been able to pay adequate attention to security agencies and how we can fund them adequately. From army to the police, those agencies and NSCDC are underfunded, you know, and most of these police officers you see, you know, are not even well paid, you know. So if we must add more people to the police fold and add more people to the NSCDC, then the policing can go around. That is the reason why most governors, I think this current governor, Enugu state governor, I mean, to tell you that this guy has something he has in his head that he's trying to do. He has advocated for state police. He's one of those who apart from advocating for an extra state for the Southeast, he has advocated for state police, because he knows that for swift actions to be taken on matters of security, you would need somebody you will put on their toes. Like you are telling the person, go here now and do this thing now. But you can't tell that to the commissioner. You can't command the commissioner to go here now. You will have to take excuse from the IG. See what governor say, make I do. Then that protocol. But because if we have a state police controlled by the state governor, by the state apparatchik, I dare say it will be different. It will be different because state governors would employ people of that community to man the security of that community and arm them properly in order to get those security of those locations done well. That is what security is. That is what security should be. But in a situation where, you know, you have somebody who lived all his life in Kano, you are telling him now to come and employ them in a Zaga local government area to be a policeman or to be a DPO. What are you doing? What are you doing? I believe that sometimes people who are sent to their location where they grow up from or where they know, they tend to police that area better than when they send them to somewhere place that they don't know. That is my belief. I mean, I might be wrong on this, but that is my belief. I know security, application of security rules and regulations or engagements, you know, differ from person to person and people to people, no doubt. But I still think you can't tell me that somebody who has lived all his life in Katsina and then you bring them all the way from Katsina to Enugu to come and man a particular police division in Uzowani. You now say they will do well, they know their way, they know their terrain. First of all, the cultural background, the language has cut you off. Same thing with the Igbo going that way. I believe that sometimes even speaking the people's language would also help in securing your people. I mean, if you imagine a Fulani man who is a police officer comes to Uzowani and then he doesn't speak the language, and then he's trying to speak, he speaks in Hausa, speaks in Fulani, whereas this guy who is an Uzowani indigene, you know, is running away from the so-called Marudin herdsmen who have allegedly been tamed to be Fulani people. How would you add it up? But if I speak my language to you, you would understand me and speak. You identify with me and want to tell me the story of what has happened. So sometimes too, we should bring down that sensitivity. in securing our lives and also adding the numbers of people who I think will be good enough to mash up the numbers. I don't think we're adequate in that sphere. And so Enugu is in Nigeria, and the governor is doing really well. The command and control center, the DRS guys, they are virtually everywhere. I know that 17 local government area is huge. Is huge. Some places that have not been secured just yet because of the resources that are involved. But by and large, like it or leave it, it's an effort. At least I've got into that command and control center, and it is just massive. Do you know that we have satellites inside the forest watching some of these people? So sometimes when people, show working, commend them so that they will do more. That's exactly what I wanted to put out about this particular story.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome from wherever you're watching us from. I want to welcome every one of you. It's Saturday, the 19th of July, 2025. It happens to be the day that everyone is enjoined to come out at the International Conference Center to look at what's going on in Enugu State. The governor is going to be officially speaking regarding his contribution to the constitutional review that's going on. The constitutional review has been going on for some time, and the committees for it have been going around the six geopolitical zones, and the Enugu turn is today. I think they're having one in Imo states. They're doing it zone by zone. There are two different meetings. One will be in Iwawere, another will be in Enugu. Enugu would involve Anambra and Ebonyi. Then the one for where will be Abia and Imo. So they're just going to sit around and talk about what their contributions would be for the state. The state over time, the state governor, Peter Mba, has stated over time that what he really wants is an additional state for the Southeast State Police. He advocated for that. For so many years, the Southeast has lived without the a sixth state, just like every other state, or every other zone has six states. They call for Adada states, some say Anioma states, some are even saying something along the lines of Iquere, Iquere state, but I mean, that's still yet to be seen. Some are also saying Soka State, so it's not very clear which one. In fact, it's not only the Southeast zone that is even clamoring for another state. I think the Northeast is clamoring for another state, the Southwest is clamoring for another state. But in order to keep it balanced, I think it's about time that even if they're going to be giving any state to any zone, if they are adding one more or two more states for any zone, then it means that Southeast should have two more in order to, come at par with every other zone, as the case may be, because it would be so wrong that having lived without a sixth state like other zones have, it would be so wrong for us not to have, the numbers that every other person has. So the Enugu state would be officially having that international conference center meeting that would require everyone to listen to the reasons why the governor is stating clearly that a sixth state is needed in Enugu state. But another school of thought would say, what happens to the states that is already on? We have states that are five. Are they doing well? Are they viable? Is it all about creating states? Is it politically motivated sentiments, that is being put out so that it will look like he is riding on the sentiment of people that we are being marginalized. So many persons, would also come from that school of thought that even the five southeastern states are not doing as well as they should, given the amount of resources that they have received since 1999. So, what's the idea of creating another state that will really make no sense? That would also be like the other five states that we have there. So, it's basically not about the creation of states, even though to some extent it's a little bit more about creation of opportunity because in that new state there will be new governor, there will be new house, reps, state house of assembly members, there will be new Igwes, there'll be new local government chairman, there'll be practically new everything. And yes, it you could tell that it would spawn development quickly. But then you would ask the one that we already have right now, what's up with it? What's up with it? So it's for 10 a.m. this morning. Hopefully, I'm able to finish off with this and join them, for that meeting that is due for 10 a.m. at the International Conference Center in Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria. It's all about the constitutional review, and every committee is going to different zones. Two of them is being held in the south. Is one in Owerri that involves Abia, and then one in Enugu that involves Anambra and Ebonyi. So Anambra and Ebonyi coming into Enugu for that particular summit, which will be at the International Conference Center. So let's see what we have here for you today. It's quite an interesting development across all newspapers. We're beginning on the Independent newspaper this morning. That the Daily Independent newspaper has this headline: Alleged terrorism charge, court may free Nnamdi Kanu on October 10th. Insists he is innocent. All right, Governor Alia investigates activities of Ministry of Education from 2015 to 2023. Still on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. 1 year after Supreme Court judgment, local government autonomy still in limbo. It's really sad. 1 year after Supreme Court judgment, local government autonomy still in limbo. Tinubu appoints IBB's son, Muhammad Babangida, chairman, Bank of Agriculture. Okay, that's an interesting one. Still on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Maboro Agog as Olukoya, wife, mark birthday with community project launch. Nigeria in bondage needs true leader to rescue it, says Obasanjo. Federal government rallies support to address malnutrition in 774 local government area. Indeed, malnutrition has been a big problem ever since. Now over to the Guardian newspaper, just above the mast. Fears as Ibadan Ile-Ife roads remains death trap despite repairs. We need amendments to our laws to tackle illicit financial flows. We need amendments to laws to tackle illicit financial flows. Yes, I think we do that. We do need that. Still on the Guardian, lean yield frustrates dairy industry's desire to meet high local demand. Lean yield frustrates dairy industry desire to meet high local demand. All right, still on the Guardian newspaper this morning. 2027, Southwest governors urged to endorse Tinubu. Federal government begins 10 billion naira Aso Rock solar power project as national grid challenges persist. Federal government begins 10 billion naira Aso Rock solar power project as national grid's challenges persist. Alleged 29 billion naira fraud, Buhari's debts scuttles ex-governor's Nyako's plea bargain bid. Alleged 29 billion naira fraud, Buhari's debts scuttles ex-governor Nyako's plea bargain bid. PCNGI debunks pulling down list of approved conversion centers from its website. Who will cry when our leadership died? Who will cry when our leaders die? Anyways, that's an interesting point. Who will really cry when our leaders die? Well, I think he's got a family. So if he's got a family, I think the cry begins from the family first, having lost someone. So there. On the Vanguard this morning, Cabal exploited Buhari's weak moments to smuggle in memos, says Gambari. Wow. Cabals exploited Buhari's weak moment to smuggle in memos. Love scam, now Nigeria's silent pandemic. Power gave Buhari a second chance. History gave him a second judgment. Indeed. Love scam, now Nigeria's silent pandemic. Okay, it looks like an interesting read. You may want to check it out, if you will. I mean, if you, it's something that you would love to have, I would love to, see for myself as well. Nigeria's propose a single 6-year tenure for presidents and governors to avoid the use of public funds for re-election campaigns, disruption of governance. Well, that makes a lot of sense, frankly speaking. Nigerians propose a single 6-year tenure for presidents, governors to avoid the use of public funds for re-election campaigns, disruption of governance. All right, that's an interesting one. Governor Okwebolo to Peter Obi, don't ever come to Edo State without my clearance. You have no right to do so. CUPP replies governor. That is for me quite ridiculous, if you ask me. Tinubu appoints IBB's son as chairman of Bank of Agriculture. Kanu courts to rule on motion to stop trial October 10th. First Nigerian in space. I traveled in diapers, holding alligator pepper, and bitter cola. Wallaby sales. Health breakthrough eye test uses AI to perfect heart attacks, strokes 10 years in advance. Oh wow, this is an interesting move. Breakthrough eye tests uses AI to predict heart attacks, strokes 10 years in advance. Whoa, this is going to be quite an interesting one. I mean, these are the kinds of things I would love to hear that AI is doing. When people say things like AI is going to come and take our jobs, I just think, yeah, well, to some extent it will. But again, if you can engage yourself in such a way that AI wouldn't take your job, AI wouldn't. But if you are just sitting there akimbo looking at it, AI is going to do so. But AI works faster, and AI can tell you, something in this regard for this long. I mean, what are you going to do with information? You find ways of reversing it, right? So it is an interesting one, and it's a welcome development. All right. Over now to the Saturday Tribune newspaper. Atiku's resignation, neither a surprise nor a threat, says PDP. FIRS laments revenue loss via MDA's negligence. Without a restructured security system, Nigeria risks becoming Sudan. Colonel Tony Inyam speaks. All right. Without a restructured security system, Nigeria risks becoming Sudan. Okay. That's a warning for those who've got ears and eyes and who are, of course, part of the security architecture to do something quickly. All right, over now to the screaming headlines on the Tribune. At National Summit, Nigerians say enough to flawed federation, flawed constitution. Okay, so what you going to do about it? I think that's where they actually proposed a single year term, a single year, 6 year, single year term for a president and governors. All right. Makinde wife installed as Are Omolabi, yeah, Are Omolabi of Akure Kingdom. So congratulations to them. Bandits kill six, abduct more than 100 in Zamfara. Ekiti 6, 175.75 million naira NRDF grants to diversify economy. All right, find out the details there. I mean, it looks really colorful from where I am. And now over to the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch this morning, Abuja elected for Muslim burial to avoid ritual killings. Chief Imam speaks. It's painful. Abuja dined with traditionalists but chose Muslim burial, says Chief Priest. I regret dating a married man. Esther Nwachukwu speaks. Interesting. All right, here we go with an inside the 3,500 pounds per day Elise London clinic where Buhari died. Okay, here's an interesting read. A whole lot have been said concerning this particular clinic that Buhari passed in London. Inside the 3,500 pounds per day Elite London clinic where Buhari died, hospital boasts modern equipment, 900 doctors, treats over 120,000 patients yearly. NMA, MDCAN, NARD condemned leaders lavish medical tourism. I mean, if 3,500 pounds per day, it's already a fortune for somebody who is a worker, who's an ordinary worker in Nigeria. It's a huge fortune. I mean, that is more like somebody's 2 year 2 year what do you call it now, 2 year salary, 3,500 pounds. Jeez, we're talking millions here in naira now. OMG. Anyways, I think somebody had suggested that the best way to go about this thing is to make sure that our leaders, governors, House of Rep members, those who are at the federal level, or even at the state level, are not given the luxury of take going for any medical checkup abroad. That way, they will be forced to budget more for our healthcare system here in Nigeria. Still, on the Punch newspaper this morning. A 150 billion naira presidential jet returns from South Africa after refurbishments. Online spell markets where spiritualists prey on love seekers. Ooh. Online spell market where spiritualists prey on love seekers. You can find that on the Punch. It will be an interesting read, really. Emerging best among 7,000 candidates reward for my resilience. First class law school graduate speaks. Emerging best among 7,000 candidates reward for my resilience. First class law school graduate speaks. APC kicks as ADC accuses Tinubu of politicizing Buhari's death. Eco Atlantic land hits 2 billion naira per plots, says reports. OMG. I mean, a place that is not even yet developed. We're talking 2 billion naira per plots. Damn it. I mean, we have Nigerians who can afford it, and check with those who can afford it, really. Check with those who can afford it. Most of them are people who probably are businessmen, those who have leveraged, the country's paraphernalia to make the kind of money that they're making, But again, 2 billion naira per plot, well, it's all good. It's all good if you can afford it. Why not? If not, anyways, want to appreciate every one of you for joining in. All right, we appreciate you for joining in. We're back in the middle of the day to speak more on other issues as it relates to the polity. My name is Charles. This is Cheesy Media.